There's a possible future in which the federal government of the United States controls the industries of artificial intelligence and cloud computing. Did you know that the government has the power to seize patented technology and research under certain conditions? It's called march-in rights, and I'll explain why congressional Democrats want President Biden to use this power before the end of his term to lower drug prices, and how it could all go very wrong. This all starts with the Bayh-Dole Act of 1980, a law designed and passed to encourage the commercialization of new tech by allowing universities and small businesses to retain patent rights over products developed using federal funding. Imagine a scenario. There's a potential for innovation in medicine or software, but the risk is high in the private sector, a place where financial losses actually mean something, so the government subsidizes R&D using public dollars. This has led to real-life development of new technologies and medicines, ranging from a chemotherapy drug for cancer patients called Taxol to the common allergy medication Allegra, and even next-generation firefighting drones. So good things have happened under this framework, but the Bayh-Dole Act basically says, put those innovations to good use for the public, or the government can march in and take them over. And it's never been done before. Now, I live in the Washington, D.C. area. Federal dollars are everywhere in this region in the form of federal grants for R&D on tech, medicine, weapons systems, and now AI. If my neighbors aren't FBI, they're probably defense contractors or Amazon cloud service engineers. It's an economic house of cards built upon the presumption that there will be plenty of federal contracts to go around using your tax dollars. And it's not just contracts that these firms want, but the ultimate ownership of the new technologies that get developed. So what's changed? These have gotten pretty expensive for consumers. The Biden administration is under pressure from Democrats to use march-in rights in order to lower pharmaceutical drug prices using the authority of the Bayh-Dole Act. Senators Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts and Angus of Maine sent a letter to Health and Human Services and the Commerce Department urging them to finalize the guidance on federal march-in rights. These Democratic lawmakers think the use of march-in rights is a straightforward way to lower consumer drug prices. It being an election year must be a pure coincidence. This is dangerous for American innovation. Even just the fear of march-in rights being invoked is enough to spook innovators and slow down private investment in some of America's most vital sectors. In ventures where the financial risk is high, firms tend to avoid making huge investments. A fine example of this is when the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, introduced regulatory uncertainty into the broadband sector, which led to a 10% decline in private sector investment toward broadband. Consumers nationwide saw reduced network coverage and reliability, all because the industry was uncertain about the future. This can happen too in the artificial intelligence space, microchips, cloud computing, because federal dollars are everywhere in these industries. Large companies like AMD, Intel, NVIDIA all receive federal funding for AI or semiconductor research and could be subject to march-in rights once the political dam breaks on its use. The government might justify seizing patents if it determines that the public interest or national security is at stake. A reasonable example: if China were to suddenly invade or blockade Taiwan, a small country that produces 90% of the global supply of advanced chip technology, this would be a real emergency for consumer products and sensitive government tech used for national security. And we all know how much governments love a good emergency to grow their power. In the AI sector, which is flush with federal funds for R&D, if AI is produced and isn't being deployed in a way that benefits the United States during a potential foreign war, the government could step in using march-in rights and take it over. With so much next-generation tech being developed using public dollars as a subsidy, we should be very skeptical of attempts by Congress to wield march-in rights inappropriately. Drug prices should be lower. But in market economies, there are better paths to take, such as streamlining the approval of generics, expanding the use of health savings accounts, and importing prescription drugs from foreign competitors. We all want prescription drugs to be affordable and accessible, but march-in rights is the wrong way to get there. It opens a door that's going to be hard to close, and it will threaten American innovation for decades to come. I'm Stephen Kent of the Consumer Choice Center, and you've been watching the Consumer Manifesto.